Hey, welcome back to Pure Mind Think. I'm Pure Mind, and today we're stepping into a story that might just keep you up at night. Imagine waking up to headlines screaming, U.S. economy collapses, stock market vaporizes trillions, millions line up for food. Sounds like a dystopian blockbuster, right? But what if it's not fiction? What if it's a prophecy unfolding right now? Enter Brandon Biggs, a preacher with a chilling vision, a great famine, and the total meltdown of America's economy, sparking chaos worldwide. Stick with me as we unravel this shocking tale, where it's coming from, what's at stake, and how faith might be our lifeline. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive in. Let's set the scene. It's spring 2025, and Brandon Biggs, a pastor from small-town America, drops a bombshell. He's no Wall Street guru or PhD economist. He's a man who says God hands him glimpses of the future, and this time it's a doozy. In a video that's gone viral, Brandon warns that the U.S. is barreling toward its worst economic crash ever. Think Great Depression on steroids. Trillions will vanish from the stock market overnight. Inflation will spiral out of control. Jobs will dry up. Food prices will skyrocket, and millions will face hunger, not just in America, but across the globe.
Brandon's vision is vivid. He sees barren fields stretching across the Midwest, rusted tractors gathering dust, and families lining up for scraps. He calls it the Great Famine, a hunger crisis so brutal it'll make the 1930s look tame. But here's the twist. He says it's not just bad luck. It's a collapse engineered by greed, chaos, and a world spinning off its axis. Sounds wild, right? Well, Brandon's got a track record that's hard to ignore. Let's rewind and see why people are listening.
Brandon Biggs isn't new to this prophecy game. Back in May 2024, he posted a video claiming God showed him an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. He described it in eerie detail, a bullet grazing Trump's right ear. Fast forward to July 2024, and it happens. Trump's grazed by a bullet during a rally, right where Brandon said. The internet exploded. Then, Brandon doubled down. Trump would turn to faith, win the presidency again, and lead America into a dark yet transformative time. November 2024 rolls around. Trump's back in the White House. Coincidence? It's enough to make you wonder.
Now, Brandon's latest warning isn't about bullets, it's about bread. He says America's economic backbone is about to snap, and the fallout will be global. Picture this. Wall Street screens go red, trillions evaporate, and the dollar's worth less than the paper it's printed on. Supermarkets empty out as prices soar. $20 for a loaf of bread, $50 for a gallon of gas. Brandon claims it's a divine wake-up call, a chance for America to hit rock bottom and rebuild on something truer. But how could this even happen? Let's break it down.
So what's fueling this nightmare? Brandon points to a cocktail of chaos. First, the stock market. He says it'll tank hard, trillions gone in a flash. Economists aren't laughing. Some predict a 2025 recession, with GDP dropping nearly 3% in Q1, thanks to trade wars and tariffs jacking up costs. Next, debt. America's national debt is a ticking time bomb, over $35 trillion and climbing. Brandon's vision of a government buckling under its own weight isn't far-fetched. The IMF's already waving red flags about a debt crisis. Then there's inflation. Brandon sees it spiraling, with food and fuel prices choking families. Picture a mom in Ohio choosing between rent and groceries, both out of reach. Real-world data backs this up. Global growth's slumped from 6% in 2021 to under 3% in 2023, and 2025's looking bleaker. But Brandon adds a wild card. Shadowy elites in suits, pulling strings behind the scenes. He's not naming names, but think big banks, the Fed, maybe even the IMF, folks with power to nudge markets into freefall. Conspiracy? Maybe. Yet when you see billionaires hoarding while farmers go broke, it's not hard to wonder.
Now, the famine part. Brandon's vision of abandoned fields isn't just poetic, it's plausible. Droughts, floods, and heat waves are torching crops from Iowa to India. The UN says 345 million people are already starving, double the number from 5 years ago. Add in supply chain meltdowns from COVID and wars like Ukraine's, and food's not just expensive, it's gone. Brandon says America, the world's breadbasket, will starve too. Is this really coming?
Let's zoom out. If America falls, the world feels it. Brandon sees this great famine spreading like wildfire. Africa's Horn, Asia's rice belts, Europe's vineyards, all hit. He pictures riots over the last bag of rice, governments toppling as hunger bites. The UN's data matches, food insecurities skyrocketing, and climate chaos is making it worse. In his vision, political upheaval follows. America's so polarized it can't respond, leaving Russia, China, and others to redraw the global map. Imagine this. 2026, DC's gridlocked, bread lines stretch for miles, and migrants flood borders seeking safety. Brandon warns of food wars, nations fighting not for oil, but for grain. It's not sci-fi. Ukraine's war already slashed wheat exports, spiking prices worldwide. If the U.S. can't feed itself, who will? He sees a new world order rising from the ashes, chaotic, brutal, but maybe a chance to rethink everything.
Here's where it gets personal. Brandon says this isn't random. It's a mirror of our choices. Greed's gutted the planet. Wars and waste have bled us dry. He calls it a cosmic reckoning, a chance to face the mess we've made. But there's hope in this darkness. Let's go there next.
Brandon's not just doom and gloom. He's got a lifeline. In his visions, God's whispering, "This is your warning." He believes America's collapse and the Great Famine are a reset button, a brutal one, sure, but a shot at redemption. He sees people turning back to the Creator, finding strength and faith when wallets and pantries run empty. Picture families sharing their last meal, praying not just for food, but for purpose. He's not alone in this. History's full of folks who faced famine and found hope. Think the Dust Bowl survivors leaning on community and God. Brandon says if we trust the Creator now, we can soften the blow. Maybe it's not about dodging disaster, but enduring it with something bigger than ourselves. He's begging us, prepare your heart, not just your stockpile.
Look around. March 2025's got warning signs. Markets are jittery, crops are failing, and tensions are high. Brandon's prophecy might not nail every detail, but it's a wake-up call. What if he's right about the stakes? What if faith's the anchor when everything else sinks?
There you have it. Prophecy shocking. Brandon Biggs, the Great Famine, and the collapse of the U.S. economy. From Wall Street's ruin to a hungry world, it's a story that's wild, terrifying, and maybe a little too real. Here at Pure Mind Think, we're digging into the what-ifs. Is this the endgame or a new dawn? Can faith in the Creator steer us through? I want your take. Do you see this coming? Does Brandon's vision hit home, or is it just noise? Drop a comment, smash that like button if this stirred you up, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more deep dives into the wild and the true. This is Pure Mind, signing off from Pure Mind Think. Stay sharp, stay hopeful. See you next time.